The I&D Group is regarded as one of the largest deliverers of concrete structure solutions in Victoria. Formed in 1994 by Ivan and Kathy Filipovic, their passion and commitment to getting the job done safely and economically has underpinned their success in the industry. I&D partners with large-scale building and construction companies in both the private and public sectors on projects large and small.
Good evening, folks, and a very, very, very warm welcome to you. Thank you for joining us on DinamoTV, the official podcast of the St. Albans Dinamo Football Club. My name is Tonchi Prusat, and it's an absolute pleasure to be with you here tonight, as it is every Wednesday night. And tonight it's our episode 15th episode of 2025. In total, we've had 53 episodes. And every one of those episodes, it has been a pleasure hosting and producing for you all. Tonight, folks, we've got a jam-packed show, and I'm really looking forward to tonight. John BILOS has come back from a little short trip overseas to Croatia, where he's mixed a little bit of business and a little bit of pleasure. We'll find out about the business side of things. He's, of course, the vice president of Dinamo, and he was in Zagreb to catch up with a couple of the Dinamo Zagreb folk with regards to our gala celebrations later this year. Speaking of which, our gala celebrations a little bit more in the news desk, but it's a sellout. Our gala night on Saturday the 12th of July is officially a sellout, and that was announced during the week. Great stuff there. We'll find out a little bit more about what is going on with the gala celebrations, plus the camp, the Dinamo Zagreb camp a little bit later on when we do speak to John a little later on in the show. Also joining us tonight, Tom PONDELJAK. He's the assistant coach of the senior men's team, but he's also the head coach of the senior women's team. And this weekend, Friday precisely, our senior women kick off their State League 2 season, and we'll find out what has happened in the off-season and how our chances are looking for the season ahead with our senior women when we speak to Tom a bit later on. And the Gospic Bears club representative IVICA PETRLIC will also be joining us. Their season as well started last week, and being one of our partner clubs here at Churchill Reserve, we'll find out some interesting plans that the Gospic Bears have for next season and the year after. And we'll find out a little bit later on from Ivica with regards to that. So there's a lot happening. Folks, before we do speak to those people tonight, we are going to have a look at our news desk, and that's coming up shortly after this short break from our major sponsor.
The I&D Group is regarded as one of the largest deliverers of concrete structure solutions in Victoria. Formed in 1994 by Ivan and Kathy Filipovic, their passion and commitment to getting the job done safely and economically has underpinned their success in the industry. I&D partners with large-scale building and construction companies in both the private and public sectors on projects large and small. With our corporate headquarters based in South Melbourne and storage yard based in the southeast suburbs, we have at our disposal thousands of square metres of quality materials, along with state-of-the-art lifting and crane equipment, enabling us to deliver the largest projects. We are committed to delivering high-quality projects by partnering with our clients and collaborating with project suppliers to ensure each job is delivered to exceed expectations. From humble beginnings, IMD now employs more than 1,200 dedicated professional and support staff, involved in a number of landmark projects right across Victoria. The IMD Group is a massive supporter of the Croatian community, backed soccer clubs in Victoria, and is proud to be the major sponsor of the St. Albans Dinamo Football Club in 2024.
And we're back now with the news desk. Thank you for joining us tonight. There hasn't been a really happy hunting ground, has it, with our senior men's team? But in recent weeks, last week they gave it a good go against Preston in the big game at BT Connor Reserve. In the end, Preston defeated us 2-1. We're in 10th position there, very, very close to the dreaded relegation zone. And this year, I'm told the bottom three actually will get relegated. So we're only 1 point away from that dreaded relegation zone at the moment. But we're in esteemed company with South Melbourne just below us, Melbourne Knights, our sister club, in 12th position at the moment. And look, we haven't reached the halfway mark of the season yet, but it was a little bit of a disappointing result. 2-1, our scoreline. Michael Gudigic getting the only goal for Dinamo. Turning our attention to this weekend, a tough game against Dandenong Thunder. That game is on Saturday night at 7 p.m. at George Andrews Reserve. The under-23s, they will kick off at 3 p.m. and the under-19s, they will kick off at 12:30 p.m. Now, speaking of the under-23s and the under-19s, last week, good result for the under-19s, a not so good result for the under-23s. First of all, let's go to the good news. The under-19s, thanks to Marley Reddy, who scored the only goal of the game, defeated Preston 1-0. The under-23s, Nicholas Murray managed to get on the score sheet, but it wasn't enough as our boys went down 1-6. Ouch, that hurts. Let's have a look at the ladder now after round 11. And the 23s there on the left-hand side currently in 9th position. But our under-19s are doing a very good job, a very youthful team. But I'm told a lot of the other under-19s teams as well are pushing a lot of their under-17 players up. And that's what we're certainly doing, giving the young guys a go. And they seem to be doing a very, very good job. They're currently in 5th position. So well done there to the under-19s. I'm sure the 23s and the seniors will do a lot better this week when they take on Dandenong Thunder. The women's team, as mentioned at the top of the show, we will be joined by their coach, Tommy Pondeljak, and he'll be talking to us and telling us all that has been happening in the off-season with our senior women. Some big ambitions there, big plans, and one of those plans is to get promoted this year into next year's State 1. And it all starts off with a big game this Friday, tough game, against Sydenham Park. Round 2 clash under lights at Keilor Lodge Reserve. Kickoff there is 8 p.m. And Sydenham Park in the opening round, they managed to defeat Williamstown 4-1, whereas our girls had a bye. A date has been announced for the next memorabilia appeal, and it's set down for Sunday, the 18th of May, and it will be at Churchill Reserve from 12 p.m. Now, that is the day that we will be taking on Dandenong City in the All-Croatian Derby. On top of that, it's also the first time that Pitch 1 will be unveiled and used for this season. So a huge day is expected on Sunday, the 18th of May. So what is the memorabilia appeal? Well, Dinamo has planned a call to arms action day for past and present members. So to bring in photos, jerseys, nostalgic items that can be borrowed or scanned for St Albans Dinamo's 50th anniversary book, which will be published a little bit later on this year. Before the memorabilia appeal, Mother's Day banquet, that's happening next Thursday, 8th of May, from 7 o'clock in the Dinamo club rooms. Give mum or give your wife a night off from cooking and bring her along to the Mother's Day buffet night. Tickets are $35 for adults, kids under the age of 16, 20, and kids under the age of 10, just $15. Live music will be provided by Grupa Accord, so singing some of your most favourite Croatian tunes. And bookings are essential, so do give message Anna, and the phone number is there on your screen. Dinamo Zagreb's youth camp, as we mentioned, that's happening later this year in July. Only a few spots left, and May the 3rd is the cutoff date. So, folks, please, May the 3rd is this Saturday. Book before then. The reason being is because we need to order all the kits. Each participant will receive 2 official camp training kits. So we want to get all those kits right. We want to get those kits on time. So they have to be ordered. It's only $500 per child for the 5 days, which works out to just $100 per day per child. And they will also get lunch. They'll get a 1-hour educational session. Every day there'll be a 1.5-hour training session. And I'm told it could be a big surprise as well. We could have a overseas pop star appearing here and possibly might even sing a song or two with the participants. There's the details. So if you do want to register, go to that jot form there. It's on screen. And as we mentioned, the gala night is officially a sellout. 50-year anniversary gala night on Saturday, the 12th of July. There is a waiting list at the moment, and should people not decide to follow up and pay for their reserve tickets, then those tickets will go back out to get sold, and they will go to those in the waiting list as a priority. And last but certainly not least, the Mini Tillies program. Well, that's kicking off mid-May, so on the 15th of May, and it will run to the 28th of August. It costs only $300, and it's aimed at girls from the ages of 3 to 6. Registrations are now open, miniroos.com.au/Mini Tillies. And it's a new program to promote female football here at Dinamo. As part of this program, this will also give us the opportunity to chase level 3 in the Game Changer accreditation as well. All right, folks, I think we've come to the end of the news desk. We're going to take another short commercial break, and when we return, it's going to be time for our first guest, and our first guest is the Vice President of St Albans Dinamo, John BILOS. Don't go away, folks. And welcome back to DinamoTV. We've got lots and lots to get through tonight. So this man has just come back from another trip to Croatia. What a lucky bugger he is. I'll tell you what. But he was there for a little bit of business, a little bit of pleasure, I should say, but a lot of business. And to find out about that, we're joined by the Vice President of St Albans Dinamo, John BILOS. John, it's always a pleasure having you on DinamoTV. How are you?
I'm good, Dodgy. How are you, mate?
How are you? Have you recovered from the trip overseas to Croatia?
You can't get the smile off my face, mate. It's always nice to go back to the motherland.
Well, it's a beautiful time of year, they tell me over there. Spring, Croatians, Zagreb in spring especially. But, obviously you had a couple of family things and personal things. But more importantly, I suppose as far as we're concerned, you were there also for dinner, more business. And you managed to catch up with our good friends Ivan and Ivan. There he is, Ivan Norsel and Ivan Kelava at the Dinamo Zagreb. I believe it was the Dinamo Zagreb Osijek game, and you were there in the crowd. There we go. How was it, mate? How was the trip to the lightning trip to the Maksimir?
No, it was good. It was awesome. Just on Zagreb, it's normally when we obviously travel in the summer, and Zagreb's pretty quiet. But in spring, it was. I haven't seen Zagreb that busy before, so
really? Yeah,
it was a pleasant surprise. It was chockers. Everyone's out and about. It was pretty cool.
Oh, excellent. Now, so obviously one of the topics of discussion was the upcoming Dinamo Zagreb camp. For most people here, I will be able to also read the article in the Vijesnik where Josip Lončarić, former Dinamo captain and now the Knights technical director, he also caught up with Ivan Kelava. So that we call it that most, that bridge between the Domovina and diaspora, really seems to be picking up pace in a major way, and it's great to see. And this is real. Like, for us, this is a big thing, but for them, they're treating it as a really, really big thing as well, aren't they?
100%. So we've got contracts set up. It's pretty full on. And like you said, I was lucky enough to meet up with the two Ivans.
Yeah.
We've been in dialogue or in contact for the past several months with regards to this whole camp and the gala, obviously. So it was good to catch up with them and just iron out any issues that they may have had or had any questions with regards to. It's not an easy process, like we've got to deal with visas. Visas is probably the most difficult part, and just a shout out to Milicevic Lawyers and Stephen there, who's helping us with the 6 visas that we need to sort out before they can travel. So then there's flights, there's accommodation, there's organising kids and what groups they're going to be in. There's a whole range of different things that needs to be organised. Yeah, we want to showcase St Albans, and we want to showcase Dinamo to Dinamo Zagreb. So we've got to be organised, and hopefully with Stepan and with Ilya and the crew, we'll be ready to go when they arrive.
Yeah. Now let's talk about that camp, because it really is important, because there's only a few more days left before the May 3 deadline.
Yep.
And for those that aren't familiar with it, I guess, and the reason why there's a deadline May 3 when the camp's being held 7th of the 11th to the 11th of July. John, do you want to just explain the reason why we've got that deadline?
Yeah, so we want to make sure that, like I said, we're professional when Dinamo Zagreb are here, and we want the kids and our kids to look professional as well. So we've got to get these kids organised, and that takes some time, and therefore the deadline of the 3rd of May for people to jump on board, to register, to pay, and then we can do our thing.
Yeah, all the details are there. There's a job form there, so please, if you haven't already, from last count, there's not many spots left. It is running out very, very quickly. So we urge you, if you've been thinking about it, being umming or ahhing, look, it's $500, which works out to $100 a day per child. And look, they get so much there: 2 official camp training kits, certificate of recognition, unbelievably engaging interactive workshops. There's also the potential to be invited to take part in Dinamo Zagreb's junior program up in Zagreb, and that's got to be definitely something you'd want to be doing. But we stress it's not open just to St Albans Dinamo kids; it's open to the wider community, isn't it?
100%. So we'd like to see our sister clubs join the camp just for that experience. I mean, we've had interest from Perth. I think we've got one child from Perth coming down.
Wow.
To Dinamo. So there's only 20 spots left. We want to cap it, obviously, but we want to make sure that everyone that wants to do it doesn't miss out. So please jump on that jot form, fill it in. Don't be the person that misses out, and then you'll be spewing later. With the jot form, there was a little bit of a technical issue where you can pay by credit card or debit card.
Yep.
Don't select that. Select the PayPal option, and then you can add your credit card details in it to make payments. So if there's anyone that had some technical issues with that,
I had that problem when I'm enrolling my child. I thought, what the hell is this going on? Here I am. I'm pushing it. I'm and I'm having the problem. But then, it was precisely if you hit the PayPal button that takes you through.
Yeah.
Now, mate, before we talk all things locally, because there's so much to talk about with regards to the upcoming gala, etc. But Croatia's such a small place. I guess just under 4 million people. Zagreb even smaller, less than 1 million people. So that's like 1/4 the size of Melbourne, maybe even more. So inevitably you're going to run into someone well known. But in your case, someone well known ran into you. And who is this fella? Oh,
How lucky is he, eh?
oh, yeah, he's very lucky to meet the great JB. Guardiola. Yes. How did that happen? He was on the flight to London, I believe.
Yeah, so we're travelling from Zagreb to London with Croatia Airlines. Maybe they can be a sponsor of ours. But, I'm sitting in, I think it was row 5, and Guardiola was sitting in row 4. Long story short, I'm looking at my wife and I'm saying, that's Joško Guardiola. I'm saying that has to be him. But you know how it is when you haven't seen someone live before. You see him on TV and you think, is it, isn't it? Whatever the case may be. And as soon as the plane landed in London, 2 little kids ran up to him and wanted to take a photo with him. And I thought that it has to be him. So I stood up. I said to my wife, quick, get a photo. And I asked him, I actually had a good little chat with him whilst we were waiting to get off the plane, and just asked him a few things of who you're playing this week. And they're playing, I think they're playing Chelsea that week, or maybe Chelsea. Yeah, the next Croatia, game, he said was something like in September, World Cup qualifiers. Wished him all the best of luck. Said maybe one day he'll come to Australia.
Well, you know what? July, is our gala, and it's the off season. He might make a quick hop, skip, and a jump. And speaking of VIP guests, well, what about when in Zagreb were you with the great Zvone Boban now that he's at Dinamo? What are the chances of getting him down under?
Look, I've put the feelers out there. You never know, so I'll put the feelers out there to see if we can get him down to the centre at a gala. That'll be something that'll be super special. But we'll see how we go.
You never know because he has been here in Australia once before, and there's a famous photo I think doing the rounds where he's underneath the Melbourne Knights scoreboard, or the old scoreboard, and he's got the Melbourne Knights top. Then he's doing a warm up. So you never know, mate. Never know. But yeah, before you know it, it'll be time for the gala. Now, speaking of the gala, this week it was announced it's a sellout. It's a sellout. Now, look, there's 750 tickets sold, but obviously the Sala, the Croatian Catholic Centre in Sunshine, can fit a lot more. Why are we capping at that?
750 was a number that, firstly, a big shout out to everyone that's actually bought tickets.
Yeah,
I'm
100%.
I don't know what to say, honestly. 750 people, and this is over the age of 16, so this is just pretty much adults who are attending. Shout out to everyone. Thank you. Well done. The reason why we've capped it at 750, and we do have some, Nat and Lucy have done a really good job with regards to, taking the bookings. So now we're in the final stages of now making payment. So I think this week we're looking for payment of those tables and those tickets.
Yeah.
And we do have a list of people that are on reserve or on standby.
Waiting. Yeah. Waiting list. Yep.
So if someone doesn't purchase a ticket or something happens, there might be a few spots available with that. So get your payments done, lock it in. It should be an awesome night. Reason 750 is we want to have a section there for for cocktails, maybe a bar section before you enter the Sala, which would be nice, and then all our memorabilia. It'd be nice to walk through an area where you have all your memorabilia and people can look at our history, our 50 years.
Yeah. Now, speaking of the memorabilia, we did have a very, very successful memorabilia appeal a few months ago, but now we're up for another one, and we're asking all club members, supporters, people in the community who have got something, whether it be an old Guernsey jersey, however you want to call it, photographs, especially merchandise, anything for this upcoming memorabilia appeal. Tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, so I think it's May the 18th is our next appeal, and it's going to be another good day as well because we've got Dandy City at home. So unveiling of pitch 1, finally we'll get pitch 1 back. So and how fitting to have Dandy City playing against us on that day. So we're going to have that available. So bring anything that you mightn't think it's relevant, but for us it might be relevant. So it could be a photo where your team was under 8s and it won a championship. You mightn't think it's important, but it is to us. So bring it down so we take a photo of it or get a copy of it, and hopefully that memorabilia area would be full of items that we want to see.
Yeah, and it must be stressed that you get that back straight away. We just borrow. We take a photo, we scan it immediately there and then on the spot. So you don't even have to give it to us in effect. We just basically take a photo, scan it in that way, so it can be done very quickly. So that'll be done on the day of the big Croatian derby. Dinamo taking on Hajduk. Yes, Dinamo Hajduk. Not like the Dinamo Hajduk in Split this weekend, but we're talking Dinamo Hajduk here in Melbourne. That's going to be on May the 18th. As you said, John, unveiling pitch number 1. Thank you, Lord, for that. And basically, that'll happening. The memorabilia appeal will be happening from 12 o'clock onwards in our club room. So turn up nice and early. Be part of history in the making, and hang around for lunch as well, and then hang around for the big game after that. So it's going to be a big month, but geez, July is going to be even bigger. So, and we can't wait for that. And before you know it, it'll be on our doorstep. So there's still a lot of work to be done, isn't it?
That's right, and we've got a last man standing on that same day. So it's going to be a big day. Just whilst you're speaking about Hajduk and Dinamo, I've got a little funny story.
Yeah,
that hoodie you're wearing, I was doing some shopping in Zadar, and I had my Dinamo hoodie on. And long story short, I had to find a contractor to deliver some furniture, and I had to go outside the shop. And I'm just asking a few blokes if they can deliver some furniture for me. And one of the guys was a young bloke, big boy, probably, maybe a head taller than me. And he kept looking at my Dinamo logo.
Yeah.
And he'd look at me, look at the logo, look at me, look at the logo, and it just happened I swear, maybe 15 times, yeah. And like I said, long story short, don't wear a Dinamo logo in anyone who's other. That's
I can imagine. Now, Šibenik's a different story, but Zadar Split, anywhere else for that matter. Did you kind of go to pains to actually say St. Albans Dinamo, not Dinamo Zagreb?
I think he didn't recognise us at all, so that's why I didn't get belted. But very lucky. So don't wear it again.
There you go. Good on you. Well, good to see that you did make it back from Croatia, from Dalmatia, all in one piece. But it's a bit sad. It is when you think about it that people over there, there's hatred. There is actual hatred.
There is. Mind you, my parents are from Imotski, so
Boban's territory, hey? Yeah, there you go. John, always a pleasure chatting to you, mate. Thank you for joining us on DinamoTV. And as we said, just a quick reminder about that memorabilia day, a memorabilia appeal on Sunday, May the 18th. It's going to be a huge day, the Croatian derby. And from 12 o'clock onwards, do bring down all of your merchandise memorabilia, big or small, no matter how important you think it may or may not be, please bring it down. The girls and guys from the memorabilia committee, they'll do a great job. Mate, thanks, George, for joining us. We look forward to seeing you around the club.
Awesome. Big shout out to everyone. Hopefully we're doing good things, hopefully on and off the pitch, and we'll see you at Dinamo.
Absolutely. Good on you. John BILOS, the Vice President of St Albans Dinamo Football Club. Folks, don't go away. Here's a few more short messages from our sponsors, club sponsors. And when we return, we'll continue with tonight's episode. welcome back to Dinamo TV. It's always a pleasure having our next guest on. He always enjoyable chatting to this man, and he's a club representative from one of our club partners here at Churchill Reserve, the Gospic Bears, and of course we're speaking about none other than Mr. Ivica PETRLIC. Ivica, good evening and welcome to Dinamo TV.
Good evening, Tonch. Good evening, everyone at Dinamo TV world, I guess.
Yeah, well, guess what? The season has started. The Metro League season has started, which means obviously our partner clubs, Gospic Bears, St Albans, Vukovar, Wednesday nights. When are they going to get a team happening on a regular basis? No,
those boys just love the Wednesday night. Train Wednesday night.
That's right. They'd have to change their name to Friday nights or something.
Correct.
Then they can't have that. But Gospic Bears, we're talking all things Gospic Bears. Ivica, how's the season started off so far for the Bears?
Well, it didn't start off great. We had a couple of boys leave the club and it left a big hole. It was a bit hard trying to find some new players, but we got a team together. We had a very good preseason. We had 8 games. Out of the 8 games, we won 4 and drew 2 and lost 2. So it wasn't a bad preseason. You there, Tom?
Yeah. We've got the footage from last weekend's game there on the screen against Melbourne University. We won't really talk too much about that result, but suffice to say, it's good to have the season back happening, isn't it?
It is. It's great. It's great to have the, obviously round 1 started. It's great to have the boys. It's a whole new team. The boys have to learn how to gel together, start learning how to play together. We've got a new coach in ML Beram. He's an OG Bear from when it all started, so he's joined the club. And
OGB or original Gospic Bears. I just clicked now.
Yeah, he's one of the OGs. With when Berto started all, Emil was there with him, with Nick Chordic and Jordan Marinac. So it's really good to have Emil there. He understands from the club's perspective what we desire in terms of football and what we want to achieve on the field. He gets it. And it's good to have him there. It really is. It's a comfort.
Yeah, awesome. So obviously, first game on the weekend was held last weekend, and you mentioned it's a new team. So where have the majority of the players come from?
So we've had a couple of boys come from Christian Dorlich. He brought a couple of friends along, and then we've had. So basically, it's just the same. The boys knew someone, and which is a good thing. Only thing is we wanted to try to keep the Crow feel about things. We wanted to have a few Crow players in the mixer, but it's just it's a very tough ask when there's they're not approaching you. I don't know where to find these players. We put out adverts in the Viesnik. We put out adverts on social media, all Croatian elements, and we didn't get any bites. And that's where it was a bit hard because I felt like, where's the next direction? What do I do next? So then we had to do a SOS because it was looking pretty bad. Look, we started off with 8 players at pre-season, and then within 4 weeks,
let's talk about that. If it's sorry to cut you off, let's talk about that because obviously we see kind of at the top level, at the NPL level, even higher levels of State League One. There's not many Croatian kids playing, not many Croatian players playing like it used to be the case maybe 20, 30 years ago. There just seemed to be an overabundance of, you look in the team sheets and there just seemed to be a large number of it. These days, whether it's Dandenong City, whether it's Melbourne Knights, North Geelong Warriors, Strathmore, it's Dinamo, we're lucky. In fact, I don't think there's one club that has, say, 50% Croatian players. It's all, takozvani stranci, so to speak. Now at the other end, we're looking at down at the metro level, kind of more of a lower division, and we'll talk about your intention of maybe next year even playing in the state leagues, State League 7. But there seems to be that problem there as well. What's happening with our younger folk today in the community? Are they just not playing football, as in soccer?
I reckon. Look, I've approached a few young boys throughout the years, and they don't have the desire. It's not like what it used to be back in the day, where you wanted to play for a Crow club. So that's why I've wanted to push for state football to see what could happen. Could we get that influx of young Croatian players from, e.g., next year, let's say for next year, under 19s, Dinamo, Knights, Straffy, the boys that don't make it into those teams, because we're talking senior football now, I'd love to see them come to the club. I'd love them to approach me personally and say, Ivica, can I play at the Bears? Because I've been approaching clubs, and look, it hasn't been as supportive as I would have liked to have been. I would have liked for the under 19 coaches or whatever try to, I've contacted them. I was hoping they'll contact me back.
Yep.
In regards to like EG, little Shimez playing in that. He's not playing at all. Like, can he come to the Bears? Something like that.
Yep.
But it's, I'm in big hopes next year, depending on what happens with all the other teams. We can start getting a little bit of an influx, like of the 19-year-olds, 18-year-olds, the ones that eventually get to that point in football where, they're not making their respective clubs, and then they're going, what's my next step? And then what they tend to do is they say, oh, Gospic is playing in the lower leagues. That's not my purpose.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'll say to them, that's fine, but you're playing senior football, and we want people to help us get to the state level.
Yeah. And I guess that's a really interesting point. So at the moment, the stance from the Bears is they'd like to play state football next year. And with the restructure, the way things are going, there'll be 7 divisions in the Northwest and 7 in the Southeast state league divisions. So either way, to field a team in the state league, you need to field a reserve team, don't you? So that then becomes another problem of you have to have 2 teams, and you have to have the depth, and you have to have of both squads. And I guess learning from past experiences where, Zadar Tornado, they did so well, but they just didn't have that depth, and they didn't have that next generation coming through. And when the older players decided it was too much, there was no one there to replace them.
Right.
Have we got the person? First of all, is there interest? Is there interest from the current players, whether it's the Masters team or whether it's the Metro 2 team? Is there enough interest at the moment at Gospic Bears to take that next step and go to state league next year?
It's a good question, Tom. It's hard to say because the players are very temperamental at times. Like when we're flying high, they want to move on and see what the next step is. It's been a dream of mine. I'm going to be selfish in saying it because I feel like we can be the next Croatian team in the state levels.
Yeah,
Straffy did so well, and I feel like, as you mentioned, there's not many Crow players in the higher clubs.
Yep.
So where are they? What are they doing? Like, are they not playing football at all? That we could have potentially a great team if those players that have let go of the sport come back to our team, our club. Because if that were to be the case,
yeah,
we're talking a different language now. We're talking, Crow, sort of, focus.
Yep.
And then, building on the culture, community based. We'll have more players probably stick around at Dinamo, because what tends to happen now is, we've got players that are non-Croatian, and they're like, they have no desire to stick around. They just want to play and move on.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? So that's the difficult part. We want people to stay at the club. We want people to enjoy themselves, drink, eat, stay. But it's just
and be part of the club, yeah. And I guess, well, look, every Croatian player, every Croatian kid has got a mate who's not Croatian who also wants to be a part of it. And it's almost a case of, look, there's all it needs is an influx of 10 or 15 players, and you've got more than enough for a seniors, reserves, and probably even a Masters team to boot. And there might be some of the Masters players might be really keen to put on the boots and and play at least in the resis and almost be like mentor to some of these 16, 17, 18-year-olds that are wanting to play senior football. What about finances? Is that now? Obviously you've looked at this. This is not something you kind of just thought about it overnight. But is it a big jump going to state league in the terms of finances? Is it team affiliations, player registrations, all of that compared to say playing in the Metro League we play now?
I don't see a big jump in terms of registration in regards to FFV, because what I think FFV is trying to do is, in regards to, because they're creating these state levels, and I think it's based on the fact that they try to eliminate the Metro Leagues, because of the fact that we don't get referees. Like,
right.
we literally got an email that literally stated that pretty much from Metro 1 to Metro 9, there's no presence of referees. So I think what the league's try to do is try to amalgamate all the teams that that are able to actually play in the state level.
Yep.
So then they can start eliminating those Metro leagues. And just what we said before, if we were to get 5 players from each club, Knights, Dinamo, and Strathie, there's your Resi team right there, 15, 16 players. Bang.
Yeah.
And that's all it takes. You know what I mean? Like, that's all it takes is a coach to call me up. I've got 5, 6 representatives that want to come to your club. Bang.
Yeah.
The only problem there is we've got to look at allocation of grounds, and there's more to it than just getting a team together. It's more to it than, a lot of the background stuff is a bit difficult at times, but I've got Gail, who I speak to on a weekly basis, and I just keep him up to date. What's happening in the world of Gospic Bears.
Yeah. Interesting stuff, and it's quite an interesting revelation, but that we'll leave next year for next year, I suppose, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot happening. In the meantime, this Friday night, we've got a derby of different sorts. Tell us all about this one, the big Croatian derby under lights.
Yep, so this Friday, the 35s are playing obviously Strathmore. It was the Maxi Santage Cup. Don't know if they're continuing that cup. It would be good to know if both clubs want to continue that tradition. I've got to actually speak to both representatives. And also on the Friday night, it's a double header. The seniors are also playing Melbourne Uni at 8 o'clock. Is the time there? Yeah, sorry, that 8:30 is not right. We've changed the time to 8 o'clock kickoff.
8 o'clock, is it? Yep.
And then after that, hopefully, both teams and the away teams will be upstairs. We're having a season launch. So if anyone's up for a Friday night and want to have a few drinks and have a bit of a feed, we've got a Gospic Bears season launch.
Yep. I'm sure the Strathmore split veterans will be hanging around, that's for sure.
Oh, well, that's what's great about it. The last time they stuck around, we went for a lot of wine. They drink a lot of wine. They're very wine. I didn't have any, Carenberg cheese to go with the wine, but
right,
you make do with what you got.
That's
it's always
great.
good to have those derbies. It really is.
It is, absolutely. Now, it says incorrectly Metro League 2 derby. It's, in fact, the Men's Masters derby. Yeah, Men's Masters Northwest derby. But having said that, the Metro League 2 Gospic Bears versus Melbourne University, that will be happening at the same time. Well, it's all happening, and it's great to see the club is just pumping pretty much 7 days a week. There's something going on at Churchill Reserve.
Always.
And, hopefully with the elections coming up and, both sides have pledged some sort of money, we can get some more change rooms, we can get more facilities, all of that kind of stuff. Because
What's Liberal pledged?
Oh, I'm not sure. I believe they have pledged something, so probably not as much as Labor, but nonetheless, there's something there. But Ivica, on that note, thank you so much for joining us.
Can I say one thing?
You sure can.
I just want to thank always thank Dinamo, and always thank the people behind the scenes, e.g. KD, Christian Dorlich, Gal, and Presnik Ilya. They do so much for our club, and it's never forgotten, and it never will be. We're very blessed to be at Dinamo, and we're very blessed to be part of the Dinamo group.
Good stuff, mate. And before we let you go, you're still coaching the Dinamo Mali Mishevi, whatever they're called, the under-8s. Well, they're not the Mali Plavi, but they're the Mini Roos, I guess, Mali Mishevi.
Yeah, Mini Roos under-8s. And that's another thing too. So it's really good to see really good talent coming through the junior ranks.
Yeah.
My team, I've been biased, but also, Coach Clad's the other team. It's just good to see some talent come through, and then that's the prosperity to the seniors. When I talk to the boys, I go, boys, we're playing here, so we play seniors here. Carry on the traditions.
Yeah, beautiful, great to see, and love your enthusiasm, mate. Keep it happening.
Always got it, mate. I wish other people had like what I've got. But
so true, so true. All right, on that note, Ivica, thank you so much for joining us on Dinamo TV.
Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye. Ivica PETRLIC from the Gospic Bears joining us on Dinamo TV. Folks, don't go away. We're going to take a short break, and when we return, we'll continue with tonight's episode of Dinamo TV. Don't go away.
Westar Prestige is a proud family-owned second-generation business servicing Victorian motorists for more than 50 years. We are a specialist prestige collision repair facility situated in the western suburbs of Melbourne. However, we service all regions of Victoria, with many of our clients travelling not only from around Melbourne, but all of Victoria to use our services. We are also able to provide a digital platform for quoting clients' vehicles who are unable to personally attend our premises. We are an authorised manufacturer approved repair facility for Mercedes-Benz, Tesla, Peugeot and Suzuki, and are proud of our ongoing affiliation with these brands. We also work closely with several of Australia's largest insurance brands who entrust us to be a part of their preferred repairer network. Our client support staff are always happy to assist clients from the initial process of lodging claims through to the final stages of collection of the vehicle on completion of repairs and post-repair. So remember, for all your prestige collision repair needs, consider Prestige, an award-winning, long-standing, Australian-owned business.
And welcome back to DinamoTV. It's time for our next guest now, and this man's a very, very busy man. He's got basically two major portfolios. He's the one of the assistant coaches for the senior men's NPL team, and he's also the head coach of the senior women's team here at Dinamo. Warm welcome, and it's a warm welcome to Tom Pondeljak. Tom, you're looking nice and snug and nice and warm tonight. How are you going?
Yeah, not too bad, buds. Typical Melbourne weather. So,
Gee.
yeah, beanie one day and then shorts the next. So, it's all good, mate. Just been enjoying it.
It's a way. Let's before we talk about the senior women's, because their season, well, the season kicked off last weekend, but Dinamo's season kicks off this weekend because we had a bye last weekend. But before we talk about that, let's talk very quickly about the senior team. Gosh, what is going on at the moment?
Yeah, it just seems just a bit of a roller coaster ride at the minute. Yeah, we started off the season, I think, quite well. We're still finding our feet from the start, and then yeah, got a couple of great wins against some quality sides in Oakley and South. But yeah, I mean, from then on in, it's been a little bit of a struggle. We're obviously trying to put our finger on it and trying to work out things that we can maybe do, change around a bit, or try and just sort of get a bit of a different reaction from the boys. But I mean, look, they're always trying hard. They're training. The application of training has been fantastic. It just at the minute, I just feel like we're just finding it a little bit difficult to translate what they're doing at training into actual match day. Don't know if it's obviously some nerves or whatever it is, but yeah, look, we're obviously working as hard as we can. The boys are working as hard as they can as well. And look, we're confident in the way we're playing. I think the boys are playing some really good football. Probably on occasions a little bit naive, sort of in defence. You know, that one or two lapses of not concentration. And look, some of the teams out there, they've got some quality players, so they'll definitely hurt you and they'll punish you. So it's things to learn from, and we will. And I firmly believe we'll be getting some positive results in the coming weeks.
How much do you think has it affected the boys not being able to play on our main pitch? And look, you know, that's only 2 weeks away or a couple of weeks away before we do return. And everyone's looking forward to that, no doubt. But, you know, we towards the end of the season last year, we had that real home ground advantage there. And we haven't had it this year at all. How much of that has played on their minds, you reckon?
Yeah, look, Toncho, I'm not too sure. Look, it definitely, I think it's played its part. Obviously, the boys want to be on the senior pitch, like, you know, the supporters do, the whole club does. So, I mean, look, we've got to be a little bit patient with that. It has been a little bit frustrating, obviously, playing a few games on pitch 3, and look, maybe opposition teams are coming in thinking it's almost like a bit of a neutral ground. They know that we haven't been playing there much, so. Yeah, look, they might get a bit of confidence out of that, but it's been a little bit frustrating on our part. Boys love to be on the senior pitch, and at the minute it's looking really good. So, look, hopefully a couple of weeks away we'll be on there, and you know, the back half of the season, or the second half of the season, we're going to have a fair few games at home, which you know, obviously on any given day is generally a bit of an advantage. So
yeah,
we'll utilise that, and yeah, we'll just put our foot down and obviously try to get some results away from home first, and then hopefully get a good run in on our home turf.
Yeah, patience, Dinamo family, patience. Trust me, I've got that itchy feeling that it's going to happen what happened late last year, and we're just going to have a barnstorming finish. Let's turn our attention now to the women's. Tom, you're the head coach of the senior women's team again this year, which is great news. Bit of stability there. Last week obviously had the bye, but this week is going to be a tough one coming up against Sydenham Park this Friday night. And that game kicking off at 8 p.m. at Keilor Lodge Reserve. Now, in round one, Sydenham defeated Williamstown 4-1. Do you know much about Sydenham Park?
Look, to be honest, Taunch, just sort of going off from where they were at last year, I know that they sort of have turned a few players over. I'm not sure, about 3 or 4 of them.
Right.
So, look, we're obviously expecting them. They were good last year, so we're expecting a really tough game, especially first up, away from home. Like you said, we obviously missed out last week. One of the teams pulled out quite late, so we obviously had a bye. But you know, look, these other teams have already played a game, and our first will obviously be on Friday. But look, expecting a tough game, no doubt about it. Sydenham, like I said, they've got some quality players. They've got a really strong striker up front, which we'll obviously have to be very mindful of. But look, in saying that, the girls are hungry. The girls are hungry to start, so they're jumping out of their skins to get the show on the road. And look, we'll obviously go there quietly confident, and obviously wanting to try and come away with the 3 points.
We'll talk about our squad in a second, but let's have a quick look, a recap of round one for the Women's State League Division 2 Northwest competition. Altona East Phoenix opened up proceedings on Friday night against Spring Hills. That was a 0-0 draw. Uni Hill Eagles absolutely thumped Moreland Eagles 9-0. Brunswick City defeated Pascoe Vale 4-3. And we already mentioned Sydenham Park defeating Williamstown 4-1. So round two, we'll see. Obviously, we're going to open up the round with a Friday night fixture there at Keilor Lodge Reserve against Sydenham Park. Brunswick City at home to Spring Hills on Sunday. Altona East at home to Moreland Eagles. And Uni Hill Eagles at home to Williamstown. Let's talk about our team, Tom. Have we had any departures from last season's squad?
Yeah, look, we've had a few girls that did depart. Obviously, Eva Girgit, she got pregnant, so she was expecting not too far, to be honest. And we obviously wish her all the best and wish her well. And then 2 other girls, Teresa and Maria, that were there last year, have gone to. Maria's gone to another club, and Teresa, I think as well, she got pregnant as well. So,
oh my goodness me!
Yeah, the girls are quite busy, which is great.
Yeah.
And yeah, look, most of the squads pretty much stayed the same. Yeah. We've retained about, I think, 15 of the girls.
Yep.
But then on top of that, we've got a couple of girls that have come in.
All right, let's talk about the recruits. Who are they, and what can we expect from them?
Yeah, look, we've got two younger girls. They're both 16 odd years old, and that's Lila Vidakovic and Lily Lisnich. Mm-hmm. 2 great talents. Really, really happy that they've come on board this year. I think they're great prospects for the future. And to be honest, I wish that they go on to bigger and better things. But
fantastic!
We'll obviously have them in the squad this year, and they've got a hell of a lot to offer, which is quite exciting. And we've got one of the other girls that we had a couple of years ago, Sasha. She's come back. She had a year off last year.
Yep.
And she's come back into the fold, and she's another quality player that'll be a big benefit for the squad this year. So yeah, look, we sort of had 3 girls depart. 3 girls have come in, so not a big turnover, which is great. I think keeping that stability is quite key. And yeah, the girls that have come in have really gelled well with the rest of the group. And obviously a few of them know each other, which is great. So yeah, look, I'm quite excited for the girls that have come in. They're only going to bolster the team and make it such a stronger side. So yeah, like I said, we're obviously got our first game, and I just obviously can't wait to get out there and so the girls can showcase what they've got available for the first game, and I'm sure it's going to be quite impressive. So
well, there it
we'll
is.
See what happens.
Yeah, there's the fixture for this Friday. Sydenham Park hosting St Albans, and then in 2 weeks' time we've got a big one. St Albans Dinamo up at home to Uni Hill Eagles, and they're one of the new sides, aren't they? We don't really know too much about them, but obviously they had a thumping win in round one, 9-0 against Moreland Eagles. So that should be quite an interesting result or interesting game, no doubt. But yeah, in 2 weeks' time, our first home game of the season, and the games are going to be played predominantly Friday night under lights at Churchill Reserve, are they?
Yeah, look, Taunch, as far as we know, yeah, Friday nights are going to be our nights as we usually play on a Friday. So yeah, I mean, obviously the last game of the season, usually for playing at home, all the games are going to be playing on a Sunday. But yeah, I'm pretty sure all the games are on a Friday night, which is fantastic. The girls love playing Friday nights.
Yeah.
And yeah, hopefully we can score some big points at home throughout the campaign. And obviously we're hoping some of the supporters can get out this Friday as well to see them there. It's just up the road, so it's not too far.
Yeah.
And yeah, just bring a bit of luck to the girls, and I'm sure they'll be quite happy to see a few of our spectators there as well.
Yeah, that'd be absolutely awesome. Now, for last question, I guess I have for you, Tom. Your support cast. Who is it? The same assistant coaches as last year, or have you got any changes there in the backroom staff?
Pretty much the same timber, mate. Yeah, we've got Shaka, Ilya, and Stevie Pavs, and I've actually asked Christian Dolic if he didn't mind being involved this year. Obviously, with myself being involved with the senior men, I might get taken away on the occasions with trainings and stuff. So, yeah, and he was more than happy to step in and help out. So he's really the only addition to the team there. So,
and boy, what a recruit that is!
Yeah, look, he's great, Christian. He's a great character, and the girls love having him around as well. So, yeah, pretty much the same thing apart from Christian coming on board, and yeah, pretty much everything else stays the same.
Awesome, mate. That is fantastic. On that note, wishing you and all the girls and your assistants there all the best for the season ahead. We look forward to seeing more of the women, obviously, this year, and hearing more of your successes throughout the season.
Yeah, fingers crossed, Taunch. Hope so, mate.
Good on you, Tom. All the best.
Cheers.
Yep. That is Tom Pondeljak, the head coach of the senior women's team. He's also one of the assistant coaches with the senior men's team as well. A man who's very, very busy, and he's always got a smile on his face. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, it's time to wrap up things on DinamoTV for this week. And that is it. That brings us to the end of tonight's show. Thank you so much for being a part of tonight's show. Just a quick recap about the fixtures coming up this weekend. Dandenong Thunder hosting our senior men's team on Saturday night at George Andrews Reserve. It's a triple header with the under-19s and the under-23s playing at 12:30 and 3 p.m. respectively. Rarely does that happen these days, where all three senior teams or all three men's teams are playing on the one day. Also, Friday night means the start of the 2025 season for our women, and our senior women are away to Sydenham Park this Friday night, just around the corner there at the Keilor Lodge Reserve. 8 p.m. is the kickoff, so do get along to a game this weekend that involves Dinamo, whether it's the senior men's or senior women's or any of the juniors, that's for sure. And finally, one last appeal, I guess, out to anyone who might be considering enrolling their child in the Dinamo camp. The deadline is May the 3rd, which is this Saturday. So do register beforehand. After that, it will be enrollments will be cut off. We won't be accepting any late comers, unfortunately. All right, folks, that brings us to the end of the show. As I mentioned, thank you for being a part of DinamoTV. We look forward to having your company next Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Good night. Laku noć.